For most of us, the sauna has always been just a simple luxury, right? A place to relax, sweat it out, and just chill. But what if I told you it's one of the most powerful tools we have for extending not just our lifespan, but our health span? Today, we're diving into the science that's completely flipping that old understanding on its head. This ancient practice might just be a key to unlocking our own biology. Let's get into it.
All right, we're going to jump right into the deep end with the most astonishing findings. Seriously, the numbers coming out of these long-term studies are so wild, they are forcing scientists to completely rethink the role of heat in our health.
So let's just ask the big question right up front. Can sitting in a hot box actually dramatically extend your life? I know, it sounds a little too good to be true, doesn't it? But the evidence, especially from a massive, decades-long study out of Finland, points to a really surprising and very loud yes.
Let's start with this number, 63%. So there was this huge study, the Kuopio Ischemic Heart Disease Study. They followed over 2,300 men for more than 20 years. And what they found was that guys who used the sauna 4 to 7 times a week had a 63% lower risk of sudden cardiac death. I mean, that is an absolutely incredible drop in risk from something that isn't a pill. And it doesn't stop with the heart. The very same study found that those frequent sauna users had a 66% lower risk of developing dementia. So we're talking about protective effects that go deep into our brain, literally shielding it from the decline that can come with age.
And here's the number that kind of ties it all together, a 40% lower risk of all-cause mortality. Now, what does that mean? It means a reduced risk of dying from anything. This is the real kicker. You see, it's not just about preventing one specific disease. It's about fundamentally extending your healthy lifespan, the whole shebang.
Okay, so those numbers are pretty mind-blowing. But how? How does it actually work? What is physically happening inside our bodies when we're sitting in all that intense heat? Let's get into the actual science.
So the key concept here has a cool name, hormesis. The easiest way to think about it is like a workout for your cells. You're exposing your body to a stressor that's manageable, the heat, and that triggers this whole cascade of responses that makes your entire system stronger and way more resilient for the next time it faces a real challenge. It's literally the what doesn't kill you makes you stronger idea, but at a microscopic level.
So who are the first responders in this whole process? Well, they're called heat shock proteins, or HSPs. As soon as your core body temperature starts to rise, your body just floods your system with these incredible little molecules. Think of them as your body's own dedicated 24/7 cellular repair crew, ready to spring into action and manage the stress from the heat.
So what's on the job description for this repair crew? Well, it's amazing. They literally find damaged proteins and refold them back into shape. They protect your cells from stress. And this one is huge. They help prevent the clumping of proteins, like the ones that are linked to Alzheimer's disease. They even help with cellular cleaning, basically taking out the trash. This is your body's deep clean maintenance system getting fired up.
Now, it's really important to know that not all heat is created equal. In a traditional dry finish sauna, the air is crazy hot, but the humidity is super low. That means your sweat can actually evaporate and cool you down. But in a steam room, the temperature is way lower, but it can feel so much more intense. Why? Because that 100% humidity stops your sweat from doing its job. It can't evaporate, so your core temperature shoots up way faster, and it puts more strain on your system.
So while all this science feels very new and cutting edge, the practice itself is anything but. This is not some new wellness fad from Silicon Valley. It is a deeply, deeply human tradition that goes back thousands of years and stretches across the entire globe. Let's just take a quick step back in time. I mean, the journey here is incredible. It starts as far back as 4000 BCE with these ancient hot stone pits. From there, it evolves into the almost sacred Finnish smoke sauna, a place where people were born and where they went to heal. Then, the Industrial Revolution gave us metal stoves, and by 1938, the first electric stove was invented, basically democratizing this ancient practice and bringing it right into our homes.
And what's so fascinating is that the Finns were not alone in figuring this out, not by a long shot. You've got the Turkish hammam, which is all about social cleansing, the intense Russian banya, often followed by a plunge into ice water, and of course the deeply spiritual Native American sweat lodge. All these different cultures, all over the world, independently discovered the profound power of heat.
Okay, so you've seen the mind-blowing data, you've seen the incredible history, now you're probably asking the big question. So how do I actually do this for myself?
Let's pivot and talk about the practical, evidence-based playbook for using the sauna effectively and safely today.
All right, think of this as your cheat sheet. If your goal is longevity and heart health, the stuff from that big Finnish study, the data points to 4 to 7 sessions a week for about 20 minutes each. If you want to spike growth hormone for recovery, there's a specific protocol. 2 20-minute sessions, but with a 30-minute cool down in between. And for just good old muscle recovery after a workout, even one session can make a real difference.
Okay, and this part is absolutely crucial. Safety first. A sauna is a stressor, and it is not for everyone. You should definitely avoid it if you have certain unstable heart conditions or if you're pregnant. And the number one rule, never, ever, ever mix sauna with alcohol. It messes with your body's ability to regulate temperature, and it can be extremely dangerous. Also, just good to know, it can temporarily affect male fertility, but that is totally reversible.
So, let's zoom out. What's the big picture here? We really need to start reframing how we think about this. The sauna isn't just a wellness trend or a luxury. The evidence is telling us it's a legitimate, powerful part of preventative medicine. I think this quote really just says it all. We're talking about one of the most effective lifestyle changes you can make to improve not just your lifespan, how long you live, but your health span. That's the number of years you live in good, vibrant health. And that's the goal, right?
And that just leaves us with this one final fascinating question to think about. Heat is a form of hormesis, an intentional stressor. It really makes you wonder if something as simple and ancient as sitting in a hot room can have this kind of profound biological impact. What other beneficial stressors, things like cold exposure or fasting, are we just now beginning to understand as the future of proactive health?